Welcome back to my channel. My name's Ebony and I talk all things spooky, horror and thriller books. Today though is a little bit different. As you can see, I'm not in my library. I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for 2026. It's going to be very low-key, very relaxing. It is a Sunday afternoon here, so I thought this was the perfect time to talk about some of the things I'm most excited to read this year. Okay, going in no particular order, there is a good mix of horror and thrillers and a bit of crime as well. But I think obviously there are going to be more. Almost every day I'm finding out about something really cool that's coming out this year. So I add them into my story graph, my want to read pile, and go from there. But here are some that I am dying to get my hands on. And I'm going to give like a really brief overview and I'm going to show you what they are. But outside of that, you can kind of make your decision as well and start building that 2026 TBR. I was going to make this like a 26 in 26 video, but I couldn't limit myself to 26 books, so that's a bit sad, a bit depressing. Okay, so the first one that I've heard of is called How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates, and by all accounts, this is a sort of rom-com thriller, like a slasher rom-com and speed dating, and she's got to use her knowledge of romance and horror genres to kind of make it out. This speed dating thing sounds like a really unique concept, plus it's a really cool like cover. It looks like it comes out in February of this year. The next one is This Story Might Save Your Life. This is coming out in March of 2026. Another really beautiful cover. A lot of these have really cool covers. Mystery about two best friends who've basically been saving each other's lives for as long as they've known each other until one of them disappears and the other becomes a suspected murderer. And it's basically like, it sounds like a survival story, a friendship story. And I love a podcast element, so it might be one that I listened to on audiobook, but probably not because I really want to get my hands on this one. It's really cool. I'm really excited. Now, you're not going to believe it. Okay, after reading The Only One Left, I saw that Riley Sager is releasing in August his new book, and so I've added it to my TBR. I don't know anything about it. Another really cool cover. 1926, 5 women disappeared from a remote island in Vermont. Now 100 years later, it's happening again. An actress in a major motion picture, unsolved mystery, an island. Oh my gosh, this sounds like it's got everything. Let's hope it's not too convoluted. Knowing Riley, it can go in either direction. It can be really, really great and well plotted, or it can get a little bit muddled and complicated. But I'm very excited, mainly after reading The Only One Left. I'm not going to read any more of his books between now and The Unknown releasing in August. Taylor Adams is releasing a book in, it says not specified. I'm sure somewhere I could find this, but it's called Her Last Breath. And that is why this is because this is about a caving expedition gone wrong. 2 best friends going caving and finding the deep, dark truth that's buried underground. Caving gives me the worst claustrophobia. I'm already a little bit claustrophobic. So caving stories and videos on YouTube, like addictive to watch, so anxiety inducing. And to be honest, I need a little bit of a thriller like that. It's cool because I've not actually read a thriller that is set in a cave with friends caving. Like, that sounds fun, doesn't it? And I know I read The Last Word and that was pretty good. Like, I think I gave it 3.5 stars. So I'm looking for something by Taylor Adams that maybe is a little step up from that. And this sounds like a unique premise. Coming out that I'm excited for is called Sanctuary by James Cleary. Doesn't have much on here about it. Let's have a look. Okay, it's coming out in April. Climate disasters have crippled the United States with half of the country underwater and the other half a dust bowl. Civil unrest would soon escalate into something darker, something unstoppable. Billionaire John Brandt anticipated this and channeled his money, power, and influence into being prepared for the great unraveling. Now Brandt, his family, and a security team must retreat to Sanctuary, their underground bunker, a vast luxury mansion beneath the parched earth of the Nebraskan Great Plains. But they are not alone. Above ground, a group of raiders are desperate to survive and will use any means possible to accomplish that goal. Whew! Look, that sounds intense and a little bit on the nose for political things that are happening across the pond. But hey, I am keen for it still. I had it on my list, so that comes out in April. Next one is Detour by Rob Hart and Jeff Rake. This comes out, it's already out. It's a sci-fi thriller. I need more sci-fi in my life. Good sci-fi. in my life this year, but specifically sci-fi thrillers and horrors. I don't just want straight sci-fi and science and maths. No, thank you very much. But I do want thrillers and horrors set in a science fiction world. Synopsis there, I am actually not going to read most of it. All I know is that it's a sci-fi thriller, and that's good enough for me. It's on my radar. Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman. This is coming out in Feb. A really cool cover too. Oh, if you watched my last video my top 10 for 2025, I've realized that one of my niche genres or tropes is thrillers and horrors set that have like a gaming element or haunted media, haunted film, gaming, something like that. So I think that must have been why I saved this one. A man must fight his planet against impossible odds when gamers from Earth attempt to remotely annihilate it in this epic, fast-paced novel. Okay, I'm not going to read much. Look how long that is. Okay, but anyway, gaming, horror, fun, sounds good. You'll Never Forget Me by Isha Raya. This is already out. It came out 13th of Jan. A sapphic cat and mouse thriller pitched in the vein of Killing Eve and First Lie Wins, neither of which I know. Okay. Struggling actress who accidentally murders her rival. Sounds good to me. And then takes her place as Hollywood's newest it girl and leans into the role of a killer as she cleans up her mess. And a clever PI who will stop at nothing to put the star behind bar, complicated by their growing fascination with one another. Ooh, it sounds like it might get a little bit messy and sexy and fun. Very excited for that. That sounds great. The Midnight Taxi comes out in February this year. Another beautiful cover. So many beautiful covers. When the last fare of the night turns up dead in her backseat, a Sri Lankan-American taxi driver works off the clock to clear her name in this mystery novel. Yeah, that's all I need to know. New York City, we've got a Sri Lankan taxi driver, female, and obviously, yeah, her last rider for the evening shows up dead and she's got to clear her name. I'm in it. Oh, I really love that cover. I want to own this one. Okay, The Shop on Hidden Lane by Jane Ann Krentz. This is already out, came out on the 6th of Jan. Sounds wackadoodle. It sounds like it's going to be quite a character-driven novel about two families, rival families. There's psychic powers involved. Guys, this might look a bit weird, but my microphone died, so it's plugging into my laptop while I'm doing this. Okay, sorry, I got caught up there. But this, yes, sounds like the psychic abilities and powers that are involved with, like, maybe less than legal activities, and there's reputations at play that are kind of on both sides of the battlefield. I don't know. It sounds complicated. There's also like aunt and uncles sleeping together, having affairs, and then they turn up missing. Oh, there's murders. Okay, there's so much paranormal shit going on too. So no wonder I saved it. I think that sounds quite intriguing. Oh, my girl. Simone St. James's new book comes out in January in a couple of days. This is A Box Full of Darkness. I read Murder Road last year, gave it 4.5 stars. I loved it. It's my favorite of hers so far. I think I've learnt that hers are better for me if I consume them physically and not on the audiobook. I didn't love the audiobook of Sundown Motel. And so I put off reading anything by her for a good few years, and I regret it because Murder Road was fantastic. So, Box Full of Darkness. Mysterious drowning at the town's roadside motel setting again. Unexplained death of a young girl whose body is left by the railroad tracks. For the Esme siblings, Violet, Vale, and Dodie, great names, the final straw was the shocking disappearance of their little brother. It started as a normal game of hide and seek. The three closed their eyes and counted to 10 while Ben went to hide, but this time they never found their brother. He was gone, and the ongoing search efforts turned up no clues. Parents grow increasingly distant. Violet, Vale, and Dodie were each haunted by visions and frightening events that made them leave town and never look back. Violet still sees dead people, spirits who remind her of her sister, the menacing presence that terrorized her for years. Now, after 2 decades running from the past, it's time for a homecoming. Because Ben is back and he's ready to lead them to the answers they've longed for and long feared if the ghosts of Fell don't get them first. Sorry I read all that, but that's intense. I like hers because they have a paranormal element, but you know that going in. Like, you're not suspending disbelief because you're aware that that's kind of her thing. I don't enjoy when thriller authors set things very much in the real world and then throw in paranormal as a twist. Don't enjoy that. Hers, it's there off the bat. I love it. I'm really excited. Creepy kids as well. Kids going missing, motel vibes. Ooh, yeah, let's do it. 5 by Ilona Bannister. Comes out in May of this year. 5 passengers, 5 minutes until the next train, 5 minutes until someone dies. Woo! 7:01, someone will die here this morning at this suburban train station. It will happen in the next 5 minutes when the 7:06 to London Victoria arrives. Oh, sounds really cool. Let's have a look at what the actual 5 strangers, the main characters are. A child, a mother, a businessman, an old woman, and a gambler. That sounds like a cast set in an Agatha Christie novel. I fucking love it. They'll draw you in their stories as the clock ticks down, as the train gets closer and closer. We fall in love with the beautiful Sunny, who is on the verge of gambling his life away. We pity the furious old Mrs. Worth, who grew up in a macabre household and so failed at being a mother. We look away from the demonic child Gideon. Anyone named Gideon is going to be demonic, let's be honest. We judge his mother, Emma, who must surely be to blame. Classic blame the mum. And we are curiously compelled by the successful and damaged businessman, Liam. This sounds really cool. Oh my God, that's going top of the list, actually. Bring it on. That one sounds so cool. Ooh, The Women in White by Sarah Pekkanen. This is coming out in August. Oh, I love a pink and yellow cover. It's pretty boring and bland, but I love the colours. You know, just telling it like it is. Extrasensory perception, the gift, a sixth sense, or something else. Okay, set in the 60s, so it's a little bit of a historical thriller. 4 remarkable young women at a prestigious university became the subjects of a parapsychology by a visionary scientist. On the cusp of a historic breakthrough, the women mysteriously vanished and the program was erased from history. Okay, very cool. I do enjoy is not the right word. I am fascinated by the history of universities that perform experiments and social experiments. You know what I'm talking about. I find that extremely intriguing. And this sounds cool. And the fact that it's women in the 60s vanishing because of these experiments or whatever's going on, a parapsychology experiment, doesn't surprise me that everyone forgot because they were ladies. It's easy. Yeah, use the women. Obstetrics by Naomi Kritzer comes out in June. Ooh. Dr. Liz has just been acquitted for performing the last abortion in North Dakota when she's kidnapped. They're not just any kidnappers, but a fundamentalist cult deep in the rural West without a respect for law or decency and in desperate need of an OBGYN. Ugh. This sounds a bit heavy, but it's just a little novella. This is only 160 pages, so this is a science fiction-y one too, which I'm very excited about. Like I said, I've tried to find a few science fiction releases. Slow and Secret Poison by Carmela Locus comes out in Feb. Early 1900s, a young gardener at a lush English manor falls in love with her employer, whose past is shrouded in deadly secrets. Cool. Sounds pretty straightforward. It's going to be a little bit more gothic. It's going to be a little bit different setting-wise than some of the other ones that I've picked so far. Small Town Slasher by Stephanie Rose comes out in March. I need some more slashers in my life, so this one, I don't like this cover. Small Town Dark Past. Say no more. That is all I'm going to say. I'm very excited about a slasher and a slasher written by a woman I am very keen on. Alicia is in the Basement by Santiago Examino. Comes out in March. This is another little novella, 120 pages, a really cool cover. Look at that. Wowzers. I love that design. This has got 2 reviews. That's 5 stars so far. One summer afternoon, Santi and Maria's daughter disappears from a public park without a trace. After months of agony and fruitless investigation that only serves to tear his life even further apart, Santi learns of a being that unleashes an entirely new kind of horror on the young family's life. He who does not speak with children. That tells us fuck all. But that's okay. It's on my list still, so I'll come back to you. Wife-Shaped Bodies by Laura Crane Hill. This comes out in April. Another stunning cover. Holy dooly. They have upped their game this year. Okay. Mushroom Growths. Okay. Look, righto. Strict men, mushroom growths. Moving on. All right. Kiss Slayer Replay by Rachel Harrison comes out in September. There is not a cover yet for this book. I haven't actually read Rachel Harrison since I read Her Return, I think it's called. It was okay, but I really want to read, can't find it anywhere. Black Sheep, I think it's that one. Can't find it anywhere in Australia. So it's very difficult at the moment. Okay, this is basically a slasher horror set at a wedding, her best friend's wedding. And she's seen her ex there, hasn't seen him for a long time, so she's having a fling with some guy on the groom party, and gets interrupted by a terrorizing killer. Okay. Oh, and okay. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit of Groundhog Day-ish. And the Sea Gave Up the Dead, William Friend. I don't know when this is coming out. Set in the French seaside. Our main character's Morwenna, her aunt, is wasting away in the family's crumbling chateau. She's lived alone since the mysterious disappearance of her husband. Locals claim Bethan is responsible, though Morwenna knows her aunt is simply declining and in desperate need of company. Okay, so it sounds like it's going to be like uncovering family secrets, ailing, dying relative out on her deathbed. Okay, cool. Tradwife. This is self-explanatory, isn't it? It comes out in Feb. A traditional wife influencer allows a demonic creature to impregnate her in this unnerving horror novel, perfect for fans of Night Bitch and Mary, from the author of Serial Killer Support Group. Every #tradwife needs a baby. She'll get one at any cost. Oh, it sounds horrific, but fun. Dig by J.H. Markert. Oh, another beauty of a cover. Again, I don't know a lot about these. I don't want to waste too much of your time going through every single description, but please, I would love to know if you're going to read any of these, or if you found any that you think I would like, please let me know, because I'm looking for more to add to my list. Not that I need any more on my TBR, but hey, here we are. A little bit slashery again. 8 years ago, a boy took up an axe and slaughtered a dozen people. That odd troubled boy, Jericho Dodd, has been dead and buried in his father's yard for years, but ever since that massacre, Crow Island has been a dark and unsettling place. Oh, Jericho's father's digging up the past he buried. Oh dear. I hope this is a bit slashery, thrillery. Gonna be fun. Nice. Okay, You Should Have Been Nicer to Mum by Vincent Tirado comes out in March. This is a family come around when the patriarch of the family is dying. He's left in his will a note for everyone saying, hey, one of you is a demon, find out who, and you get the inheritance. That's what I gather from this. Sounds really fun. Amelia Walls by CJ Dotson. This comes out in April. Oh, I like the flame design. That's really cool. Suburban horror. Befriends a boy with dead eyes, a fascination with fire, and no remorse. Their turbulent relationship is brief but creates lasting consequences, and then jumps 22 years later. He resurfaces to kill her parents and is in turn betrayed by his accomplice and killed in Amber's childhood home. Fucking hell. Sounds like that'll be intense. Dollface, I've had this on my list for so long. It comes out in February because I really love the cover. I love pink horror, as we know. Barbie meets Scream with a 90s nostalgia twist in this horror romp. Oh, love it. Horror author Jill has just moved to suburban New Jersey, hoping to fit in with the new PTA mums and maybe not weird everyone out with her Final Girl coffee mug. You know, make some real friends. This is going to be so cheesy. But you need some cheese, don't you? Every now and then. A plastic-faced masked serial killer begins slashing their way through town, one overly made-up mum at a time. The police are incredulous, the mums are indignant, and Jill is slowly wrapped into a killer's murder spree until she might just be the last woman standing. Great slasher! Like I said, I have a slasher vlog I'm planning, so I need as many as I can. I think that's going to be a mid-year thing that I do, because I want some of these for that vlog, where I would just read slashers for like a week or two. Okay, nearly there. I've got a couple more to talk about on my list. The next one is Dark Is When the Devil Comes by Daisy Pierce. This comes out in April. It's a small town thriller with a supernatural twist. See, at least we're getting told there's a supernatural twist. I enjoy that. Scary Woods, English Countryside. Oh yeah, nice, set in English countryside. So many of these are set in America. It's nice to have one set in England. Preferably, I want more of those. Who knows the old saying, if you go looking for trouble, you just might find it. Okay, the woods are known as the place to avoid. What goes in doesn't come out. Spooky dooky. And the last one is a very popular one that people are talking about is Nowhere Burning by Katrina Ward. She wrote The Last House on Needless Street, which I really loved. So I had to add this one. This comes out on 24th of Feb. A couple of kids like running away from home, squatting in an abandoned ruins of an infamous movie star's ranch. Nowhere. For actor Leif Wynnum, Nowhere has a place to hide from his fame and to hide his crimes until a fire ravaged his home and exposed him as a murderer. Holy dooly. Okay, there's a lot going on here. I remember with Last House of Needless Street, I enjoyed going pretty much blind into that book, so I'm going to do a very similar thing, I think, with this. So that's my plan. Those are a few. Anyway, this isn't a very in-depth video. I just wanted to have a little chat and catch up with you guys about some of my most anticipated reads for 2026. There's so many good books coming out, but I also have to be realistic because I have quite a few I have a lot sitting on my shelf already that I really want to read this year that I know are hidden gems. So it's going to be, I want to have a good mix of new releases versus what I've got on my physical TBR that I actually should bloody read. So I am going to try and limit myself to just these, but let's be honest, I know I'll add more. There'll be things in the next 6 months that I haven't heard of yet. Because like going through all of those, they're all pretty much released within the next 4 or 5 months, some in August. So I haven't looked at any that are due later in the year. So there might be another one of these videos come mid-year. We'll talk about everything that's coming out in the second half of the year. But yeah, I would love to know if you've got any of these that you're adding to your pile now. If you've heard any, if you've read any, if you've been lucky enough to read some of these early, I would love your opinions. Or if you've got any that you think I should add going off my taste for these. But outside of that, I hope you have an amazing week and I will see you in the next video. Bye!